It's a new year, which means there's a whole new lineup of anime coming out this winter. I know everybody's excited to see the big releases like the final part of Attack on Titan and the ongoing animes like Demon Slayer, or even some non-Crunchyroll anime like Commonplace the World's Strongest. But I'm here to tell you my initial thoughts after watching the first episodes of the new Crunchyroll winter anime lineup. First up, and possibly my favorite new show this season, is my dress-up darling. Wakana Gojo is a high school boy who wants to become a master craftsman who makes traditional Japanese Hina dolls. Though he's gung-ho about the craft, he knows nothing about the latest trends and has a hard time fitting in with his class. The popular kids, especially one girl, Marine Kitagawa, seem like they live in a completely different world. And I know what you're thinking, it's probably just another popular girl meets and falls for the loner boy, and it's probably booty cheeks. I mean, like, yeah, that is a booty cheek, but, like, the show's not, but, like, just trust me, it's great, okay? It's not a new idea, but the characters, personalities, and hobbies makes it something new and special. Both Kitagawa and Gojo have a hobby they don't share with others because of what they might think of them, which most anyone can or could have related to at one point in their life, whether they were super popular or a loner. Also, Gojo's insane lack of social confidence mixed with Kitagawa's borderline psychotic optimism and positivity makes for comedy gold. Also, I can't skip over the fact that animation is crispier than a bucket of KFC chicken. The story type is nothing new, but it has a refreshing take on it with the Hina dolls cosplaying girls and the chef's kiss of the mixture of personalities. So for that, I give the story, new refreshing take, and the characters all a 2 out of 2.5. Plus, I mean, Kitagawa, I mean, the art and animation is beautiful. So I give it a 2.5 out of 2.5. Then a bonus point for a banger intro. I'm excited to see how this animation does, and I give it a 9.5 out of 10 for its final score. Second up on my list is Orient. During the Warring States era... During the Warring States era, the feuding generals were suddenly struck down one after another by the demonic Kishin. In the 150 years since, groups of individuals have continued to resist Kishin control. They were called Bushi bands. When they were young, Musashi and Kojiro would hear tales about the Bushi from Kojiro's father, and the two of them dreamed to form the strongest Bushi band. This one really had my hopes up, coming from what I believe to be the creators of Magi in a kind of Demon Slayer-like storyline, but then to flop like a freaking dead fish. The story sounds good on paper, but after seeing it in animation, it brings nothing new or refreshing to the table. They have a pretty standard cast of characters and very saturated story type, so I mean, the animation must be decent, right? This story's probably better told through manga or light novels in my opinion. It still doesn't have a particularly good story as of now, and it doesn't bring anything new to the table yet either. So I give the story a 1 out of 2.5 and the new refreshing take a 0.5 out of 2.5. Characters are also nothing special, so I give it a 1 out of 2.5. The animation was also lackluster, so 1 out of 2.5. But hey, the intro was a kind of way to go. Something here, and with a good storytelling and character development, they might be able to salvage something from this show, but for now, I give it a 4.5 out of 10. Third on this list is a show I wasn't particularly trying to keep my eye on, but I just kept hearing so many people talking about it. It's life with an ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout. Childhood friends Junji, who grew up with ladies flocking to him, developed a distrust for them, and Tachibana Hinata, who grew up in Junji's shadow being ignored by women, were living everyday lives as office workers. Then on the way home from a mixer one night, they were sent flying into another world by a mysterious being. Once there, Junji sees his best friend has been turned into a beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. Once you get past the immense cloud of hot, steamy tension between these two, there isn't a whole lot to really look at in this first episode. I must say it is a new plot idea for sure, but the show doesn't set a whole lot up for you. Instead, it spends most of the time really driving home the fact that these two guys are attracted to each other now, and they're trying to get each other to admit it. I think this show can become something really funny and great if it doesn't overuse this punchline. Since not much is set up story-wise in this first episode, I'm gonna have to give it a 1 out of 2.5, but the new plot idea and entertainment that it provided with the refreshing take, I definitely give it 2.5 out of 2.5. The main characters and interactions with each other have a lot of funny moments, and the animation really complements the jokes with the goofy art styles that it has. So I give the characters and animations both a 2 out of 2.5. I must say though, I'm not really a fan of the intro unfortunately, so no bonus points there for it. I give it a final score of a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a great anime and it could become a really good one as long as it doesn't overuse the jokes in the same ways repeatedly. Now, fourth on this list is an isekai. I know, but just hear me out here for a second, okay? It's called In the Land of Leahdale. Due to a terrible accident, Kina Kagami is forced to live on life support in order to survive. The only way for her to be free is within the VR MMO RPG Leahdale. One day, her life support stops functioning and Kina loses her life, but when she wakes up, she finds herself in the world of Leahdale 200 years in the future. After watching the first episode, I have a feeling if Overlord and I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level, bumped fuzzies, that's what this show would end up being. Many of you like me probably have a lot of hesitation jumping into a new isekai because of the dumpster fires and overabundance of this genre, but I'd give this one a few episodes to see how it plays out. The story is super stereotypical, but at the same time plays off the fact that she's been confined to life support and finally gets to experience life again, and it can be really heartwarming and comedic as well. Now, the idea of being transported into a video game is as original as the overpoweredness of the main character. However, the mushy-gushy feelings and the laughs you get bring more of a refreshing taste to this type of show. So I give the story a 1 out of 2.5, but the refreshing taste a 1.5 out of 2.5. The character being basic like the storyline, I give a 1.5 out of 2.5. And the animation is pretty average in my opinion, but fits the show well, so a 1.5 out of 2.5. And same goes for the intro, it gets a 0.5 out of 1. That gives the show a final score of a 6.5 out of 10, and I think the show can go either direction, but I hope to see it prosper using the unique strengths that it has. The fifth anime on this list is a show I just kind of stumbled across while trying to rewatch some episodes to make this video. It's called Love of Kill. Two assassins face off at a certain workplace, the cool bounty hunter Chateau and mysterious and powerful Ryan-Ha. Chateau and Ryan-Ha become enemies after this fight.
一つだけ確認させて。は？やっぱりな。匂いが気にならない。
You know, I feel like I can really relate with this guy. At least they should have. But for some reason, Ryan-Ha takes a liking to Chateau and begins to follow her around. Little by little, Chateau develops a cooperative partnership with Ryan-Ha, which gets her caught up in the struggle against the organizations hunting him down. This anime really reminds me of Maid-sama, but like if you just gave them all guns. You have the cool, calm, overconfident, talented, and persistent male lead, and the cold-hearted, doesn't understand emotions, strong female lead. This story starts off pretty slow, but has potential and definitely takes a different approach to the forbidden love idea. I think as of now, the characters are the best aspect of this anime. You have 4 named main and supporting characters, Chateau and Ryan-Ha, which have been talked about and even start to get a little bit of backstory to understanding them further. And then Yuri, Perez, and Jim, who work in the office and have fun banter, but have a feeling they will become a bigger role when the show develops more. Now, the story is kind of slow in the first episode because it deals with backstory, introducing side characters, etc. But it's on the right track for something, so I give it a 1.5 out of 2.5. The forbidden love idea between a bounty hunter and the bounty hunter target is pretty unique, I'd say, so I give it a 2 out of 2.5. And the characters being the anime's strong point right now, I give it a 2 out of 2.5. Now, the animation's nothing to write home about, and neither really is the intro, so I give them both mediocre score of 1.5 out of 2.5 and a 0.5 out of 1. That gives the show a final score of a 7.5 out of 10, and I think the show can be something actually pretty nice. Now, I don't really know where it's going to go, whether it's going to lean more towards action or the forbidden love romance side, but I think it's going to be good. Last is the only show that's not making its debut this winter season, and it's the case study of Vanitas. I'm going to try and be as least biased as possible when talking about it, but the show is fucking amazing. Here's Crunchyroll's description. In 19th century France, humans and vampires coexist. Young vampire Noe is traveling to Paris in search of a book of Vanitas, which is said to be capable of unleashing a curse upon all vampires. On an airship, he finds himself embroiled in a strange incident. It is Vanitas, a human calling himself a vampire expert who appears before Noe in the ensuing chaos. In Vanitas' hands is the very book that Noe has been searching for. To start out, this episode just has everything in it. Comedy, action, giant beasts, red-eyed vampires, blue-eyed vampires, psychotic murderous priests, curses, illusions, possible time travel even, all wrapped into one episode that just makes sense in the end still. Granted, if this was the first episode ever, it very well could have been a hot mess, but that's what gives this show an unfair advantage over the others, is it's a second season, which gives it more leeway to make something more adventurous like this. What we know as of now from the first episode this season is that they're basically on a monster hunt for the beast of Javandon, and Vanitas wants to try and cure the curse bearer of the beast if there is one. With all the different things happening this episode, it's very refreshing, keeps you on the edge of your seat and wondering what's going to be happening next. So I give the story a 2 out of 2.5 and the refreshing taste a 2.5 out of 2.5. Vanitas is a great lead character, being serious yet funny, intuitive yet childish, and has satirical plans and actions. But a great character that we actually meet this episode is the priest. I think he'll become a huge role in this upcoming season, playing a villain we will all grow to hate even more than we already do after this episode. We don't really interact with the others like Jin and Noe, so I give the characters a 2 out of 2.5. Then the fight scenes we saw, with the emotions on the characters' faces and the funny animations that complement the jokes, I give it a 2.5 out of 2.5, but the intro was a little slow, so no bonus points for it. I give it a final score of 9 out of 10, and I realize it's probably a little biased, but nevertheless, just check the show out and I promise you won't regret it. Now, if you're still watching, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, maybe the like button too if you're feeling adventurous, but I'll put more videos out for you to watch, and let me know what you're watching this winter season and what you thought of the reviews.